Dama with Soul Delicious Kitchen, your plant-based nutritionist and certified herbalist and certified raw food chef, coming to you today with the herb of the week. And this week we have the famous, the infamous sea moss, Irish moss, Irish sea moss, Chonus crispus, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're coming with. I've had lots of inboxes, lots of emails on this herb over the last few weeks because I know with everything going on in the world and the climate of the world today, everybody's looking for things to boost their immunity, things to be a little more healthier, and this is one of the things that helps in both of those areas. And so it's become very popular. It's gained a lot of popularity, I would say, over the last 3 to 4 months, but it's been around for ages. So let's jump into it. I will also post some of the other videos I've done on Irish moss and sea moss in the past, just so you get a good idea about Irish moss, or if you want a good education on it. Also, I also advise that you go out and do your own research, right? Alright, so what is it? Obviously it's a sea vegetable. Sea moss comes from the sea. The North Atlantic is where you want to make sure yours is sourced from, and I'm showing you 4 different forms today. I consume them in all of these different ways, so you can consume it lots of different ways. Let's jump into it. Alright, so the first one is powder. Alright, so it's a powder, and it's really funny because it's kind of slimy. You can kind of see, even though it's a powder, it's still slimy. So yes, powder form, probably the easiest way to consume it. I like to put it in capsules. I think we did a video on how to encapsulate the Irish sea moss, and along with the bladderwrack, Irish sea moss has 92 of the 102 minerals that your body needs. So this is a great source of minerals, which most of us are deficient in. So great way to boost up your immunity and boost up your immune system. So even if you're not taking a multivitamin, which in today's age, I'm not really sure why anybody wouldn't want to take a multivitamin, but whatever, to each its own. If you're not taking a multivitamin, this is something in which you can consume through food or in either of these forms to get into nutrition. First way you can consume it, powder. You can encapsulate it as we do. You can also put it in a smoothie. You can put it in water and drink it. I know people that make teas out of it and drink it like that. Not my favorite. It's very fishy. I'm not a fishy person. If you're a person that likes fish, my husband doesn't mind the flavor of it, you won't mind it. Okay? The next way is cut and sifted. So this is straight from the sea. It's clean, cut and sifted. This is how I take it if I want to take it in a tea form. Okay? So you can see it's actually hard and kind of grainy. Very similar to this. You can see how this has some, so it's not as like this. So this is after it's washed, dried, then they go ahead, after it's washed and dried, then they turn it into a powder. So that's how it turns into this white color. This is, once it's clean, dried, there's also purple, so this is a mixture of the purple and the white, cut and sifted straight from the sea. Okay, so that you could take in the tea form. Then there's the gel form. So the gel form is what we see right now. A lot of people are doing the gel form. A lot of people are adding stuff to the gel. I like the gel. It's easy. I don't like the texture of the gel, so I do have to chase it with water. It's not even the taste, because the gel taste, you can get rid of the taste in the gel. You can mask it. It's not as strong. However, the texture for me is awful. So I usually just take a big tablespoon, chase it with water to be able to not have that texture in my mouth long term. And so how you get the gel, this particular gel is from the raw form. So this is raw, straight from the Atlantic coast, and this has not been cleaned. This has not been anything. I just kind of pulled it out of the bag just to show. But you're going to soak this overnight, and then it turns into these, what looks like spaghetti almost, or with tentacles on it. I don't know how to explain it. I'll post a picture below. And you can see what that looks like once it's soaked. Okay? So even once it's soaked and it's clean, you can take that and you could use that as a sea veggie salad. You could use that. My husband likes to eat it just plain. Doesn't really have a lot of flavor that way either. So that is 5 different ways you could actually consume Irish sea moss on a daily basis. So it also naturally contains a carrageenan used for thickening and stabilizing. So it's not the carrageenan that the man-made one. This is actually not man-made. So it's the raw form from Earth, right? So not man-made. So not as harmful as some of the other thickening agents. So you could use it in foods, you could use it in soups, you could use it in salad dressings, you can put a scoop of this in your smoothie, you can put a scoop of this you can put any of it in your smoothies, you can put any of it in your foods, you can top your salads with it, you can, how else can you take it? Pretty much any way you consume food. So it's a pretty easy herb to consume on a daily basis to be able to get in those 92 minerals. Okay, what is it good for? Okay, so I get that question a lot as well. Thyroid health, because it is a good source of iodine. So it is going to help with your thyroid and your hormones and all that other good stuff. So if you cannot, make the thyroid hormones without sufficient level of iodine, this may be something that you want to consider. Respiratory health, because of its gel-like, mucousy-like consistency, it's really good for extracting mucus from the upper respiratory. So it dissolves any phlegm, soothes any inflammation, the mucus in the membranes to actually prevent congestion. So obviously right now, with the climate of the world today, and as we're going into the fall months, something great to have on hand to be able to combat any upper respiratory infections. It's nutrient dense. Again, the body is made up of 102 minerals, and this has 92 of those 102 that your body is made up of. So if you want those other 10, add in bladderwrack, that'll give you your other 10, and that's another sea veggie. Okay, so it also contains other nutrients such as protein, beta carotene, vitamin B, pectin, vitamin C, and sulfur. Okay, all very important. But one of the most important of these nutrients is the sulfur, because it also contains the amino acid taurine, which is more abundant in Irish moss than any other seaweed or any other sea vegetable. Okay, and that's also one of the nutrients that's lacking in the vegetarian and vegan diet. So really easy to consume that amino acid by consuming this. It's also excellent at immune boosting, valuable in the recovery from debilitating illness, high in vitamins and minerals. Digestive support. It's high in fiber content. So it acts as a mild laxative, so you don't want to overtake it. So how much should you take a day? I would start off with a tablespoon a day, just to get going. If you've not been taking it, I would do a tablespoon and then work your way up to 2 tablespoons. If you are more sensitive, start with a teaspoon and work your way up to 2 tablespoons. My 8-year-old takes 1 tablespoon a day. So just to give you an idea of how much you should take. Also weight loss. Also it helps to reduce weight. Why? Because of the absorption and the expansion. It absorbs moisture, so it increases the volume in your stomach, so you're not as hungry. You are a little more full. Not to mention you're getting minerals that you probably wouldn't get, that you're usually deficient in, which may have you thinking you're hungry, but you're lacking some type of mineral or vitamin. So that happens a lot in our mineral deficient world we live in. Alright, so that is it. That's the herb of the week. A little bit longer than I wanted to, but I wanted to make sure I got this video out so you guys are armed with a little bit of education on Irish sea moss. Please go out and do some more education. If you want to make these into, all of these can be made into gels, right? So this is the raw form, goes into this, and I know the gel is what most people are seeing right now. This can also be turned into a gel. If you want to turn this into a gel, you're going to need about 2 cups of water, 1/3 cup of sifted and cut and sifted. You're going to boil the water, you're going to throw this in there and let it sit for 20 minutes turned off. And you're not going to boil the herb, you're going to just let the water boil, and you're going to put the herb in the hot water for 20 minutes. Come back, blend it with about 4 cups of water, and you're going to then let it, put it in a jar, let it cool, and you're going to get it's going to be more of a tan color gel. Okay, Same thing for the powder. You can turn the powder into a gel as well. You're going to need 1/4 of a cup of the Irish moss powder and 2 cups of hot water, and you're going to put that in a high speed blender. You can make it as thick or as thin as you'd like. That's the numbers that I've come up with that works the best. And blend it, let it sit, and it's going to be, I don't know, a creamy color. So not this clear color, this came from this. So depending on what form you use to make your gel is going to be a different color. Alright? So, know your source, know where it's coming from, know where you're getting it from before you go out and you buy this gel online, people, because you don't know what they're using. They could be using the powder, they could be using the cut and sifted, they could be using the raw. Don't assume they're using the raw. All of them turn into a gel, especially if then they're masking it with the fruit. I've seen a lot of that out there. You can mask any of these with the fruit. You don't know what you're really getting. If you know that it's a clear gel, you pretty much know you're getting it from the raw form. If it's being masked with something, you don't know what form it is, because if you're putting I've seen it with spirulina, I've seen it with, different fruits, but if you're masking it with the spirulina, you really don't know what color, you don't really know what form it's in. So make sure you guys are educating yourself as you're going out there. Also, you don't know if it's being farmed. You don't know if they're getting it directly from the sea or if it's being from the farm. Not that it doesn't work. We have had it from the farm unknowingly. Not the source you want. You do want, it's like having farm-raised tilapia. Ugh, not so much, right? Or farm-raised fish. Not something you really, because they're mimicking the ocean. They're mimicking the where it's really supposed to be. They're taking a little piece, they're putting some salt in the water, so usually it's really salty, and then they're giving it some waves, and they're mimicking their real environment. Not saying that it's a bad thing if that's all you can get, but if you can get where it comes directly from the Atlantic, then that's what you want. That's what you want, right? Why pay for something less than? Especially if you're going to be putting it in your body. Make sure you do your research. I'm just putting it out there. We don't sell it. If you want it, I mean, we have enough where we could probably bottle up a few and put it out there, but we don't sell it. But I want to make sure that you guys are getting the right source. I will put the link below on where I actually get the powder from. That's all I have. But you want to make sure, again, that you're getting the right source. You want to make sure that there's, it's not where there's radiation in the ocean, because you could be getting it from the ocean. If it's in the Pacific Ocean, you're going to be, then you're dealing with, contaminated. From the ocean, but contaminated. So you want to make sure that you're getting it from the Atlantic coast, and that it's a reputable source. That is it. I'm off my soapbox now, guys. This video has been long enough. If you guys have questions, please post them below. Inbox us, DM us. We're here to help. We're here to answer any questions that you may have. And until next time, guys,